I continue to believe that she has not jeopardized America's national security. Now, what I've also said is that, and she's acknowledged, that there's a carelessness in terms of managing emails that she has owned and she recognizes. But I also think it is important to keep this in perspective. This is somebody who has served her country for 4 years as Secretary of State and did an outstanding job.
All right, there you go. You notice, as we documented earlier in the show, first he said, I got to be careful what I say here because, there's all this investigating going on. But it didn't stop him, did it? Joining us on the Malzberg panel, Lionel. We welcome him aboard. Emmy Award Winning Legal and Media Analyst, talk radio veteran, author and trial attorney or lawyer, you take your pick, and Jane Velez-Mitchell, who we welcome back. New York Times bestselling author of Addict Nation, An Intervention for America, and founder of JaneUnchained.com. All right, let me start with Lionel. Welcome aboard, my old friend.
Thank you.
And this is a guy who constantly weighs in on ongoing cases after he says, I can't, I shouldn't, I won't, and he does. What do you make of what he said about Hillary? Who is he sending a message to the DOJ, to the FBI, or is he just being Obama?
Well, did you hear that classic channeling of Ralph Cramden? Hamada, 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 hamada. Remember the old scene years ago where there was a guy on the loose and they would go to somebody's door, the woman, and she would open the door with a chain?
Yes.
And the cop would say, everything all right? She goes, yes. Everything's fine. So what he said was very carefully, there was nothing that she did that indicates that she compromised American national security. That's not what she's being charged for or investigated. There's nothing to indicate that she lied on her taxes or ran over a small pet. What she is being investigated for is something far different. And if you could see a thought bubble, if you could see what the president was really thinking, he would say, I've never forgiven you or your husband for what you've done to me from the days of Blumenthal.
Oh, nonsense.
From the days, and I've told Comey I want you to go after him full tilt boogie.
All right, see, I don't get that reading, Lionel. Go ahead, Jane. Go ahead, Jane.
Yeah, well, okay, first of all, this scandal is not resonating with the American people. 55,000 pages of emails, and they found 22 that have retroactively been classified top secret, and even the president said they're secret, and then they're secret. These concern issues that have been in the newspaper, talking about drones over Pakistan.
No.
I wrote about drones over that part of the world in the book years ago. These
That's
are
not what it's about.
really secret, and guess what? Had there been a threat to national security, we would have known it by now.
That's the point. That's a red herring. It's not about national security. What the
Jane, let Lionel, the attorney, take over for a second. Jane, let him take over.
What the emails are about and what she has to worry about is it goes to show you this weird kind of a strange connection between the Clinton initiative, this NGO, and the Secretary of State's office, and, dare I say, back to Blumenthal again. Because what the American people have been spoon-fed by this echo chamber sock puppet media is that this is some little trifling, that maybe something wasn't stamped top secret when it shouldn't be, that it was a simple. That's not what this is about.
Go ahead, Jane, go ahead.
Okay, let me tell you what the American people should be worried about. A candidate who I believe is off his rocker, who is suggesting that more countries should have nuclear weapons. I am talking about Donald Trump.
You're changing the subject.
No,
We're not talking about
because
that.
you're talking about bad judgment. Well, there's bad judgment about emails.
Jane, stick to the issue. Without objection, Your Honor. This is irrelevant.
Let the witness finish. Jane, finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're talking about bad judgment regarding an email server, and I'm talking about a guy who's running for president, who's leading in the Republican race right now, who's talking about giving nuclear weapons to more countries.
Well, not giving.
A guy who flips every 5 minutes, and who I think has flipped.
All right, let me move on. Let me move on because we talked about, to Lionel's point, about Obama wanting to get back at Hillary. And Lionel, we saw a report in a British newspaper today that and there's a book out, and the book says, among other things, that Michelle Obama would not invite the Clintons to dinner. She despises Hillary, and she can't wait to get the heck out of the White House.
And he does as well. By the way, they both have. I mean, since the beginning, there's a lot of bad blood there. Because when Hillary chided the president for his dreams about how he came down from on high, that stuck with them. Let me tell you something. The worst thing that's ever happened to Hillary Clinton is a fellow by the name of Comey. And look what's happening right now with this Romanian hacker whom they've just extradited back.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? And when's Hillary going to be speaking? In May. cue
First
the.
of all, that
Go ahead,
article
Jane. Go
was-
ahead.
That article was riddled with inaccuracies. It accused Hillary
With
Clinton of not being a
accuracies, I
hard
agree.
worker. Okay, not being a hard worker. I mean, come on, you could say what you want about Hillary, but she's a hard worker.
No,
It
what do you
also
make?
said-
What do you
it
make?
also
What do you make
said-
of the accusation that Michelle Obama despises the Clintons?
No, but it was filled with inaccuracies. It has no credibility.
Answer
It
the
said
question.
Michelle Obama doesn't care about policy. Now, as a vegan, and I know your other speaker is a vegan as well, she tried to get Americans to eat fruits and vegetables, which is possibly the most important policy decision and issue of our time.
And the kids started starving, and they revolted, and they couldn't stand
please.
it. And district after
Kids are
district. And by the way, I
suffering
always
from
wondered.
obesity.
We got to end this segment. We're coming back. We're coming back. We're coming back. I always wondered how Michelle Obama could dictate the lunch policy in our schools. That never made sense to me. We're coming back with Lionel and Jane Velez-Mitchell. Don't go away.
I would not agree to having any CIA officer carrying out waterboarding again.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we played for you earlier, that's John Brennan saying he would not have any CIA officer carry out waterboarding again, even if a new president directed it. Of course, I doubt that that would be unilateral in violation of any laws, but the laws could change, policy could change. I guess then he'd have to step down. Rejoining us on the panel, Lionel is here, and Jane Velez-Mitchell. And let's start with you, Lionel. You know, it just amazes me. We catch these terrorists. Overseas, they catch these terrorists. They, as Donald Trump has said, they chop off heads, they drown people in cages, they do all these horrific, vulgar, vile, vicious, barbaric, subhuman things, and we won't stick their head underwater, even if we thought it worked.
Well, this is where we may part company. If we ever catch somebody, a vile terrorist, cutting off somebody's head, then I say it's do whatever you want. But a lot of times we're catching people for reasons that we're not really sure. We're holding them for years when whatever information that they had has certainly evaporated. But the question I have, and this is a weird position, I'm against waterboarding, but I'm also for individuals and underlings following the legal directives of the commander-in-chief. I don't know how you can say that. Is somebody going to say next, I'm not going to fire a gun. I'm not going to throw a hand grenade. I'm against the use of trenching tools. I don't think you can say that.
Because torture is illegal, and their first responsibility is to follow the law, not break the law, because if crazy people, and I think you know who I'm talking about, get elected into the highest office in the land and start issuing fascistic directives, it is the responsibility of the military to say, no, I'm not going to do something illegal. I'm not going to round up people and put them in internment camps just because you tell me to. I'm not going to torture
Well, that was
somebody
that was
just
done.
because
That was
you
done
tell
once
me.
before, Jane.
That was FDR. But aside from this, though, there is something for this. This is a red herring, a lost leader or something. This is some type of a Brennan saying, now, listen, I want you to go out there and tell them that we're not going to waterboard. Got it. So he goes on and says, and by the way, we're not going to waterboard. Do you know half of the
That's the
stuff
Bush
that we do? The answer
administration.
is no, we don't. Nobody knows. So I don't really believe that
I
for
do,
a
see,
moment.
Unfortunately, I do believe it. I believe that this administration is so ashamed. But by the way, you talk about people being held for so long. Obama and no one reported on this except for me and maybe wherever I read it. Obama released 2 explosive experts, bomb makers, Al Qaeda bomb makers. The DoD, Department of Defense, said they are a threat to our national security. They will go back and help them make bombs. He released them from Gitmo to the Senegal as if they're going to stay on Senegal, Jane. What the heck
know
is
who
wrong with
runs-
this man?
You know who runs ISIS? Former members of Saddam Hussein's army.
What are you
If we
talking
hadn't
about,
gotten in there
Jane?
in the
Well, with
first
all due
place,
respect, if you go
we
back to
wouldn't
others-
easily
Wait,
deal with this.
Jane, I'm talking about these 2 releases. I don't care who runs ISIS. I'm talking about you got 2 bomb makers now who were in prison who are now free to help them make bombs that could, God forbid, blow up you or me or Lionel.
But
only one of us.
Policing terrorists that we've caught that are bomb experts. So, yeah, I agree with you there, but I also don't think torture is effective. You know, all the experts say when you torture somebody, they'll say anything. Yeah,
Well,
sure.
that's a different issue. But do you
Yeah, I
honestly
get that.
believe,
Lionel, go ahead.
Jane, do you honestly believe that the head of the CIA is going to actually say to the world, we are not going to follow a directive from the commander-in-chief?
He just did.
I don't believe it's true. I believe he's saying that because we'll be getting a lot of bad press about
the
that.
directive.
Are you kidding?
Otherwise, Tricky Dick would still be in office. Okay, we've got to have people stand up to the law. This isn't a dictatorship.
Do you
If
believe
Donald
him,
Trump
Jane?
is in there and
Do
says,
you-
you know what? as he did.
James, do you believe?
Jay,
such a bad thing? I think we
James, do you
should
believe that a
people based on
man
their
from an
nationality.
organization?
work.
Do you believe that a man from an organization that would send out, let's say, drone and Hellfire missiles to different parts of the world on orders would have this moral compunction all of a sudden about waterboarding?
Well, the president does.
Waterboarding?
All right, guys.
There's a legitimate response in a situation of war.
We have to end it there. I really appreciate it, Jane Velez-Mitchell and Lionel. Great to see you, my friend.
Thank you.
And you got a website, Lionel?
LionelMedia.com.
LionelMedia.com, and of course JaneUnchained.com. All right, folks. Up next, we're taking your phone calls. 877 Newsmax. 877-639-7629. Be there. Start calling now.